with WTI, the amount not to exceed $253,620.97.
Support. Item E moved and supported. This item is open for commissioner discussion.
Mr. Chair, we have Dustin here and of course our building and ground supervisor Tim Hill to come up and talk to you guys about the process so that you can ask any of your questions and go through what they do and how the bids were put out and selected.
Okay. Gentlemen, you have the floor. Thank you for being here.
I'll answer them. He's here to explain what's going on.
I hope this helps.
Good evening. My name is Dustin Freeman, and I'm a field advisor with a company called Tremco, Roofing and Building Maintenance. Tim just passed out a really brief presentation that I put together. And just wanting to be mindful of everybody's time. We can go ahead and get into it in case there are questions at the end. I want to make sure that we have ample time to be able to answer those. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to members of the board, staff of Shiawassee County, as well as any community members who took time out of their evenings to be here. I think it's helpful to provide a quick snapshot of who we are as a company and what exactly we do, and maybe even a little historical context of the partnership that WTI Tremco has had with the county in years past. So the first couple of pages will cover that, and then we'll get into the more specific items with regards to the roofing industry. So let's see. Everybody can turn to the page that says an RPM company at the top and has a bunch of materials and products in front of it. So
Do we have the pages numbered?
page 3, bottom right. The pages are numbered.
Oh, they're so low I can't see.
My apologies. So Tremco is part of a construction products group. We specialize in making products, materials, and systems that keep unwanted air and unwanted water out of buildings. Okay? We have been around for almost 100 years. We're part of a $6 billion company, which at the top of that page it says an RPM company. They are our parent company. We are, meaning Tremco is part of the commercial industrial side of things. There's also a consumer portion that makes up about 30% of the portfolio, with some names that you'll find in box stores you may be more familiar with, like Rust-Oleum and that. So just to give you a little idea of the name Tremco. If you flip to the next page, at the top it says why utilize Tremco. So for the past few years, we've helped the county manage leaks, mostly at the jail, some of the district court, and that's great. There are some clients that's all we do is help manage and do leak repairs for them. For most of our clients, we do a lot more. And I think the bullet points on this page that you can walk through will give you an idea of I guess, our full capacity and what we're capable of. So typically, we deal with municipalities, K through 12, universities, and large healthcare hospital networks. What these clients have in common is they have multiple buildings. These buildings have multiple roof sections per building, and it's a lot to keep track of. So we specialize in gathering data up front, doing the legwork to collect information and walk all the buildings to figure out what type of roofs you have, approximately what condition they're in. And when we gather this information, we're able to prioritize it based on current conditions and roofing needs, and then we place accurate budgets to that and help create extended 3 to 5 year asset management plans. So you all can plan accordingly and not be caught off guard when things need to be addressed around the building. When budgets get approved, for example, and we're looking to go to project, we help with that as well. So we help with bid documents, we write the specifications, we invite as many contractors as you'd like to see to that bid. We help with the pre-bid process. As those bids come in, we do post-bid interviews with the low bidder, sometimes the 2 lowest bidders, to make sure that everything is accounted for, and so that you all and our company don't get caught in a bad spot midway through a project. As those projects are going on, we serve as project managers. So even for something as small as just leak response and minor repairs, Tim gets progress reports with photos and descriptions of what was done. So you have records of that. For larger projects, it's important because typically you see flags up on a roof, you see people on the roof, and you assume that what you paid for is being done. We wish that was always the case. Unfortunately, it's not. We try to provide as transparent of a process as possible so you know what was paid for and what was specified as actually being done on the roof. And at the end of it, we are the warranty holders. So we can help with everything from A to Z, and when we're that involved, it's really hard for anybody, especially us, to point a finger if something were to happen at somebody else. So we take a lot of responsibility and liability throughout this process. Also, it gives you one contact point as opposed to having to track down the manufacturer, the contractor, things of that nature. So we can go to the next page. Some common questions that come up: who do you do business with? So County of Shiawassee, County of Saginaw, Genesee County, City of Flint, City of Mount Pleasant, Central Michigan University, Mott Community College, U of M Flint. There's more, but there are more important things to talk about than the entire comprehensive list of people we work with throughout the state. If we flip to the next page, I've included some condition photos. I wish they came out a little bit better how they looked on my computer, but I said to the right, there's a description that says the existing ballasted EPDM or rubber roof system is past its service life. As these roofs age, they shrink and become brittle. Stress points around perimeters, penetrations, laps, and seams are the common problem areas. And for years, we've helped with repairs, and new deficiencies continue to appear. The next page. So as we start talking about the specifics of the proposed project, it's a very unique situation. These are the 2 roof sections that we're focused on, which have been the most problematic, present a lot of hurdles or challenges. So if you look at the photo on the top left, there is ductwork that is very low to the roof surface that has to be disassembled and then reassembled, or new ductwork installed once the roofing is done. The picture on the top right, you see another angle of that ductwork running along the entire perimeter edge, as well as a large skylight that is on tracks that used to be able to open and close. And then the bottom two photos, there are permanent safety items that also need to be disassembled and reassembled during the project. So we're dealing with a situation where we've got multiple trades involved. On the right-hand column, I put some of those bullet points out there. In addition to what we've already talked about, there is some electrical disconnect, as well as demoing an existing gas line, reinstalling a new, and painting. We flip to the next page. I have the proposed roof areas. So the proposed project, in addition to addressing the points on the previous slide, the existing ballasted sections will be removed and replaced with an adhered roofing system. This system will include tapered insulation to promote positive drainage and a cover board to prevent damage from foot traffic, general maintenance, and extreme weather events such as hail, which is fairly common in this area. The system would provide a 30-year proactive warranty, and what I mean by proactive warranty is built into our standard warranties. Our inspection team with our warranty department comes out at years 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25, providing detailed photo reports. Again, so you have more of an idea how these systems are performing, and if there are minor deficiencies, those get addressed during the time of inspection also. I was asked, and I thought it would be a good idea too on the next page, because the proposed roofing is 2 very small sections, and the price tag looks pretty big because of a lot of those challenges that are on those roof sections. So to provide a more thorough or comprehensive picture, the remainder of the building is not nearly as complex as those 2 sections. Also, we can potentially benefit from economies of scale. More square footage will help drive the square foot cost of roofing down. So I provided budget numbers for the rest of the building. If nothing else, we're planning for the future. But I want to make it clear that on this page, these are just budget numbers. I feel like they are worst case scenarios, so if anything, we should go backward. But that is always what we aim to do, is to provide worst case scenario, so we're not going the wrong way, essentially.
Dustin, could you explain to them the bid process that you guys use?
Yeah. Yes, so we used, I guess what I would call a bit of a hybrid bid scenario. Typically, the traditional way with public bids, you've got to advertise for 2 weeks, invite contractors, you have the pre-bid, their bids come in, and say you give them 2 weeks, right? So that's a month's time. With this having multiple trades involved, I thought it would be easier for one entity to oversee the whole project. We, meaning Tremco, is fortunate to be the low bidder on several cooperative purchasing contracts or consortiums, which does the county use any sort of co-ops currently, or have in the past, or is anybody familiar with that way of purchasing? Okay. So for nonprofits, for public entities, again, Tremco was the low bidder on a few cooperative purchasing contracts. This is done a little bit backwards. So with co-ops, everything is pre-bid and pre-competed up front. So every manufacturer has an opportunity to bid on these co-ops. Tremco happens to be the low bidder when it comes to materials and construction services. The particular co-op that we're utilizing for this project is called the AEPA. One of the benefits to the county by utilizing those co-ops, number one, it's a slightly quicker process. Number two, you get a 13.4% discount on materials. You're presented with a one-page line item contract that checks all of the boxes to assure you that it is compliant and above board way of spending. So lots of municipalities, lots of universities, lots of K-12s use these sort of things because it gives them a little bit more flexibility and control, but they also benefit from discount off materials. So when I said we did a bit of a hybrid, we're utilizing the cooperative purchasing agreement, but we still invited multiple contractors to bid. And to get into specifics, we invited 5 roofing contractors to bid this work, ranging from some of the largest union shops in the area to small union shops. So we had Brown & Son out of Bay City, we had Mid-Michigan Roofing out of Saginaw, we had National Roofing out of Flint or Burton, Lutz Roofing out of Shelby Township, and Shane Roofing out of Livonia, who is a non-union contractor. So we had a wide spectrum of people that we invited to bid this work. Because of a combination of the fact that the 2 proposed roof sections are not much square footage at all, it's about just over 2,100 square feet. And the complexity of having to deal with ductwork, the skylights, disassembling, reassembling the permanent safety. 2 of those contractors submitted numbers. So we did get, when I say hybrid, that's what I meant by that. You could, by utilizing co-ops, you could essentially pick a contractor and pick a supplier and go that route, but we wanted to create a competitive bidding scenario. And the next closest bid, the other contractor, was about $20,000 more. So.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for?
I do.
Gary, yes.
Yeah, I was on the capillary, community, board for years, and they used, you get any bids for putting foam on, or not?
No.
Oh, you gonna bleed in foam then?
So our company does not do foam. We have the ability to restore old foam roofs. But no, we did not. We
I know
did
they
a
did.
basement alternate bid.
Okay. They did all they own several buildings, they did one here in Shiawassee County. They foam it, what's nice about that, they have a little dip, you can foam it, you can get it thicker, you don't have to rip everything off like you're doing. Also I'm on the senior citizen board, and over the Morris, we had the same problem. Leaking, they had a rubber roof on there, and Marlene's on it with us, and we put foam on that, and they give us some foam pieces, and if you got a dip, you can put it thicker, and the foam is so dense, you can't pull a nail out of it. So I'm personally more into the foam thing because you can fill in all the voids and move them more with foam, and they guarantee it. They put epoxy on it, and they keep updating on the epoxies and stuff like that. So that's just my intake on it. So
Yep.
I'm not a rubber person, so all the experiences I had with all the committees I've been on.
Yeah, and we're not proposing a rubber roof system. But yeah, we are, and I am very familiar with foam systems.
That's my case.
Yes.
If I may. We're replacing a rubber roof system with an adhered roofing system and so on. Can you tell me the difference between a rubber roof and an adhered roofing system? I know we're pulling off a rubber roof.
Yeah. So it's an important question. I'm gonna make sure I answer it. So please let me know if I don't.
I'm hardly a roof expert, so,
Okay.
simple language, using hand puppets, that sort of thing. would-
Yes, I'm gonna do my best, and let me know if I'm failing
All right.
at that. So The rubber roof that we're taking off is ballasted, so if we think of river rock, that's what's holding that roof down. It's oftentimes used as a way to cut costs, as opposed to having to use fasteners and adhesives. The challenging thing with rubber, and especially in a ballasted type of assembly, rubber, the current roof that's on the jail is a 60 mil rubber membrane that has laps and seams. When we think about 60 mil, think about approximately the thickness of your credit card. And that's when it's coming out of the factory. So as it ages, it is not that thickness anymore. And as those age, the oils that once gave it the ability to stretch and recover bake out of it. It's a black roof, right? Also, the river rock that has been on it for decades becomes dirty, which just introduces more foreign substances to that roof. And again, they shrink, they become brittle, and they start breaking down at those stress points, perimeters, penetrations, laps, and seams. A challenge with that, we have a concrete deck. When water can get into that system, it's free to run wherever it can, essentially, right? Because if we think of, it's not glued down, we just have a loose laid sheet. So once water gets in, it's able to migrate. It makes finding leaks more challenging. On top of that, whenever we're called for a leak call, part of what the county is spending money on is moving rock to try to search for that leak, and then moving rock back. And we're doing that on a brittle membrane with rock that has been up there for decades and is in some cases, small, sharp pieces. So any foot traffic just potentially does more damage. When we talk about an adhered system, we're gluing it down, okay? A benefit of that is if you were to have a random puncture on a system like that, the water cannot really migrate very far because it's adhered to the substrate. In this particular system, it would be adhered to what we call a cover board, which is about 1 inch thick of cementous fiber. So it gives it some good protection against foot traffic. We've got mechanical contractors who do ongoing maintenance on the roof. There are hailstorms, and it also keeps, or can help keep moisture from making its way into the building.
And just one other quick question, so I understand in your expertise, just a percentage wise, what is the increased cost of an adhered system over your typical ballasted rubber system? I'm not gonna hold you to it, give me this is my experience guess.
I would
10%
say,
or 50%?
I was going to say it'd probably be 5 to 10%.
Oh, okay, not a
Yeah,
significant.
I mean, you're talking,
Alright, thank you.
and again, with this particular project, we're only looking at those two sections that are in the official proposal. There's not much square footage, there's really not much roofing material to begin with, so, yeah, we're talking minimal.
In this particular case, the difference is about $13,000 between a ballasted system and the alternative fully adhered roof. And the warranty is 10 years difference. So they give us 10 more years with the adhered and the ballasted
This
system.
is well worth it.
It's on page 2 of the bid.
Alright.
In this scenario, I think you said it best. We wanted to provide a couple of options. That's what we tried to do, because we know you guys have more to worry about than just roofing. But in this particular scenario, yeah, the cost was so close and the warranty differential, it's.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I'm still in favor of a foam. One thing is about a foam, you put 2 or 3 inches on there. You get insulation in the summer, you get insulation in the winter for the heat and then for air conditioning. And also the foam it sticks to. It just the experience I have some big barn doors, just regular foam, not this expensive that they special put on roof. And I got some doors on my barn that are 14 foot high and 16 foot wide, and we foamed it right on the metal. And the doors, when the wind blows, being 16 foot, they actually flex 4 inches and it still sticks. So those are big items for me, but that's my.
Yeah, and so no matter what system.
You get no insulation with this or anything.
No, there is insulation. There's a tapered insulation package to, so we make sure that water's actually making it to the drain. A couple things with, foam roofs and.
Thank you for everything. We're an hour and a half in, guys.
Yeah.
And there is
Yeah, this is-
another meeting coming after us, so.
I just want
Anything interested in keeping things moving? Any pressing questions, and then we'll get moving.
One more just general, I've heard through the grapevine, so to speak, that for some reason there's a lot of controversy out here about our spending this money on the jail. Pretty much anybody who owns a building knows that other than the building being on fire, if water's getting in your building, you gotta stop it. Because it'll cause 10 times the damage. We have to fix leaky roofs, whether it's the jail or the courthouse or anything else, we have to fix leaky roofs.
All right, any other comments? All right, hearing none, we're on item 8. All in favor of moving this forward, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any nay? Thank you, that motion will carry.
Thank you.
For being here.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank